I'm using perhaps the most inexpensive camera there is. Okay? And I'm doing this for my friends and family worldwide who I've been encouraging to record and to make a oral history of their life, because each life is important. I believe each person is a messenger, and each person has a message. It may only be one sentence, but it's a message just the same. For example, do you know who said, "All we need is love"? That's just a sentence, but right away somebody popped in your head, and the vision of living a life filled with love popped in your head. See what I mean? Anyway, tomorrow we will be voting, and I have been reading this book by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's called Starry Messenger. It should be in your library, but that's not what I wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to talk about today is that the fact that I'm okay, and to say the message is what is important. If you've got ears to hear, you will hear the message. Messengers throughout time, we have had thousands of messengers, and yet all of them speak about the same thing: love, brotherly love. And they tell you to seek your divinity within yourself. Look, here's the thing. I'll say that to remind you that it was Solomon, the author of the Proverbs, who said, and again, the message is what is important. He said, "A people without vision will perish." Solomon. Solomon reigned between 970 to 931 BC or something like that. A few hundred years after Solomon, you had Sirach. And Sirach, I suspect, was educated by the wise words of Solomon. The reason why I say that is because Sirach was actually from 200 to 175 BC. That's what, about 300 years after Solomon or something? No, I'm sorry. About 600 years after Solomon. But there was another very wise messenger, Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu wrote this book right here, a book that I have talked to before. And Lao Tzu said this, and I marked the page this time so that if a country, and these are the words from Lao Tzu, and by the way, Lao Tzu was before Confucius, okay? And I think I'm pronouncing his name properly. And Confucius was from 551 to 479 BC. Now, these timelines are important. Nobody really knows much about Lao Tzu. He was probably in the court of one of the emperors around 1000 BC. No matter. He was an advisor to the emperor in China. And this is what he said: if a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty. When the will to power is in charge, the higher the ideals, the lower the results. Try to make people happy, and you lay the groundwork for misery. Try to make people moral, and you lay the groundwork for vice. Thus, the master is content to serve as an example and not to impose her will. She's pointed, but doesn't pierce, straightforward, but simple, radiant, but easy on the eyes. This is the Tao Ching. And this is very relevant because tomorrow we vote. And tomorrow we will voting based upon one of two things. Either we're going to be voting because of our own conscience and because of our own will, or we're going to be voting based on what we're told to vote. I would suggest, and this is only to the people who follow Microdacism, I would suggest to think for yourself. And remember this: a nation without vision will perish. Okay? I think the fixation on immigrants of color will pass, because in fact we're all our brothers and sisters keepers. We're all keepers of all our brothers and sisters. Okay, that's all I wanted to remind you of. Thank you.